Discernment. Discernment can only be honed through experience and through past initiations. And so I've had contact with the star people ever since I was a young child. And then 13 years ago, I was contacted in my backyard by the Pleiadians. And it's been every single day since for over 13 years now. And I've met many different groups of beings, many races, and 95% of them are beautiful and of the unified light of the seventh dimension and above. But some of my experiences are with the other beings and with the false light. And so the false light can appear luminous, they're very intelligent, and they mimic the true light. And before one has really honed their discernment and learned how to vet spirits and to know who's who, this can be a dangerous situation. So 13 years ago, I was having so much interface with the positive beings on a regular basis that I was under the impression that it was all good out there, and it was very obvious that who was the light and who was the dark. And then at a certain point, the positive beings told me, you need to stop relying on us so much and you need to be aware of what's out there. And then I started to see this other group of beings that felt a little different, but their ships looked the same. They looked luminous, but the energy was just a little bit off. And they're very intelligent and they know how to play people. But soon I started to realize that the information wasn't lining up. And then I realized there's literally two separate groups out there. One that's mimicking the true system. And so these are the trickster beings, and they mimic the real thing. And this type of situation can happen with ETs in the sky and craft. It can happen with spirits. It's a very common thing for imposter beings to come in and try to play people. And so back in 2016, I started speaking at events publicly about all this UFO contact and posting UFO footage even more to where it really got out there in the public at that point. And I got activated to where I could see through the dimensions, to where I could see spirits with my eyes, not just third eye stuff. And I would see light orbs all the time, and I would see dark orbs following people, and they would be following a person and go inside a person, and then that person would start acting all crazy, and this would happen like clockwork. And so I could see attachments that people were carrying. Okay, and so once the dark side realized that I could see them, they started to try to attack me. And this started a series of initiations that went on for a long time, for a series of months, to where I really had to do the inner work and clean up the inner environment even more, to where they could not affect me anymore. And long story short, I passed a series of initiations which really honed my discernment. And so on a different note, I remember back in 2013, the Arcturians told me not to listen to Bashar. And I was thinking, why? Because I like Bashar's information. And they told me that he was compromised and not to listen to him. And so I didn't really understand why, but I listened to what the Arcturians told me. And then in 2020, I heard Bashar tell people to go get the jab. And that's when I knew that the Arcturians were right and Bashar's controlled opposition. And so there's many people in this field who are not who they say they are. Things are not as they seem. And I've met a lot of the top people in this field. And so I know from experience that there's a controlled opposition on the disclosure movement. So real disclosure is happening right here, right now. You know, meditate in your backyard with a pure heart, do clearings and put your intentions to connect with the guardian founder races, with the seventh dimensional up and up races. Because in the fourth, fifth, and somewhat in the sixth, things can get kind of tricky. And so you want to be only connecting with very high dimensional beings, because in those lower dimensions, there's that trickster element there. And it plays a lot of people. And I've seen this time and time again where people think they know what they're doing, and then all of a sudden they have some attachment that's really hard to get rid of, and then I have to clear it off of them. And this is what I've been doing for over 13 years now, is clearing people as a healer. And so my message is discernment is very important. Always run everything through your own filter. Always listen to your inner intuition, and tap into the 0 point and make your own source connection, okay? Because nothing is outside yourself. The whole universe is within, and your connection to source is within. And you are the I am on the very highest frequency, we are one with source. We are not separate from it at all. And we are simultaneously down here as a fractal of it, experiencing ourselves through ourselves. Source is fractaled out into infinite number of fractals, which are us and everything else. And so everything is divine and everything is playing its role. And so living in the paradox that we are simultaneously one and we are simultaneously many, living in the 0 point with unconditional love in your heart, but still with discernment. Love y'all in the most masculine way. Peace.